Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Schaefer here, starting off on our wake-up weather as you're getting out of bed for work, school, or whatever you're going to be doing. Temperatures 48 to 56 degrees, mostly clear skies. Will be breezy at times. A southeast wind 5 to 15 miles per hour, could be up to 20 miles per hour in some areas out to the west. Those winds will shift into the central portions through the afternoon. Highs today, mid to lower 70s for most. There will be some upper 60s, but everyone is above that average mark. Don't go anywhere because I'll be going over the rain to end our week and much, much more. Good Day Dakota starts right now.
It's gonna be a good day, so let's get it started.
Live from KX News, this is Good Day Dakota.
Good morning and welcome to Good Day Dakota. I'm Nicholas Qualt.
And I'm Alicia Huck. Thanks for waking up with us on this Wednesday morning. We're kind of at a loss of words this morning.
We're a little bit on the struggle bus right now.
So Saban, our good friend Saban, says this is a Christmas tie. Is this a Christmas tie?
I have to agree.
What? But there's got blue in it.
You have the red. Yes, you have navy as Christmas color.
I don't know. I mean,
navy, red, green. I mean, the pale yellow is maybe the only one that's not.
Right.
You probably can't tell that it's kind of pale yellow.
I don't get an opportunity to wear this tie this often because
now you got to show up in an actual Christmas tie like next week. Just
no, my tradition is like a couple days before Christmas here on the air, I will wear Christmas ties. They can't be too loud. You know what I mean?
You should start wearing them next week.
What? No, that's I'll make a lot of people, including
orange and black, purple.
Yeah, exactly.
That's next week.
Yeah.
Well, here's what we have ahead in this half hour on Good Day Dakota. Coming up at 6:06, an embattled NFL team could be getting its old name back if one group has its way.
And at 6:12, there's a new kind of technology helping farmers prepare for the colder weather.
And at 6:24, health experts break some myths about what to do in the event of a concussion. That and more is coming up on Good Day Dakota.
Leading local this morning, a man awaiting trial for the murder of his roommate is now being charged with having dangerous weapons in his jail cell.
Shawnee Krull of Minot faced a judge Tuesday for his initial hearing on the weapons charges, and bond was set at $150,000. A probable cause affidavit states investigators found several self-made weapons in Krull's jail cell, such as shanks and a slug shot, which is a sock filled with bars of soap, bolts, and other debris.
A sheriff's deputy in court said the search of Krull's cell came after staff found missing bolts and pieces on a mop bucket in Krull's unit. Investigators also said they observed jail text messages from Krull to his mother, expressing his disapproval with his last court hearing.
Saying he might as well start swinging on people in jail if court continues to not go his way, since he'd have nothing to lose. Krull denied having the weapons, and the judge set his next hearing for a weapons charge for November 2nd.
He'll, however, be back in court later today for a status conference regarding his murder trial.
Well, Mandan police arrested a man who they say was carrying both drugs and stolen guns. It happened last Wednesday evening when a police officer said she was suspicious when she saw a man at an M&H gas station who was trying to hide his face. That officer saw the man get into a vehicle and drive away. The officer then stopped the vehicle for a turn signal violation and spoke with the driver, Daniel Kinsella. The officer called in a canine that started to alert the vehicle, that was alerted to the vehicle, and officers then searched it, and inside they found 3 ounces of what they believed to be methamphetamine. Police say there was also a locked box inside of the back of the vehicle which contained 2 stolen pistols. Kinsella now faces 4 felony counts, including possession with intent to deliver drugs, along with an illegal gun charge. This week he was appointed an attorney. KX News also contacted Bismarck police, who tell us that the guns, a 9mm CZ and a 10mm Glock 20, were stolen from 2 vehicles in the city earlier this month. When asked, Kinsella told the officer that the vehicle, the drugs, and the gun were not his. He'll be back in court next month.
A North Dakota-based Native American group is now suing the NFL team, the Washington Commanders, for defamation. The Native American Guardians Association is suing the team after it stopped using the Redskins name and logo. On August 7th, the association issued a letter to the Commanders in conjunction with a Change.org online petition asking for an open dialogue with the team and sharing statistics. However, the association says the team never responded to the letter or the petition supporting reinstatement of the Redskins name and logo. In its lawsuit, the association says the Washington football team is working with the National Congress of American Indians, a nonprofit group that the association claims is a lobbying organization based in Washington, D.C., and is not an official tribal organization. The franchise stopped using the Redskins name in 2020. They then rebranded as the Commanders for the 2022 season. Neither the Commanders nor the National Congress of American Indians have responded to the suit. You can read the full suit over on kxnet.com.
Ward County leaders are currently trying to hash out next year's budget. After last week's public hearing, the committee still has requests to review from around 20 different agencies and groups. Last year, Ward County's budget was around $60 million, with nearly $10 million in cash reserves. The biggest expense is public safety for the county, including the sheriff's department and the jail. Last year, that figure was just over $16 million, but county leaders say they may have to cut back on some appropriations, including how much they give to Project B and the state fair. Ward County leaders will meet again next Tuesday.
Making headlines around the world, a judge ruled that former President Donald Trump, his sons Don Jr. and Eric, and the Trump Organization committed extensive and persistent fraud for over a decade. The ruling says Trump inflated the value of his assets by billions of dollars and lied about his net worth on financial documents to banks and insurance companies. That led to the cancellation of the company's New York business license. An attorney for the former president says the decision is fundamentally flawed at every level.
Well, the demand for childcare remains high all across the state, including the Magic City.
In fact, the need there is so great, the city formed a new committee on childcare this year.
So far, committee members say they've been gathering information about how they can try to make life easier for parents. They've spoken with families, business owners, and providers trying to find out what is currently available.
Members also say they were able to find what they think is the root cause of the issue, which is finding more child care workers and making sure child care centers can hang on to good employees. Minot City Council member Scott Burlingame says now that they know what the problem is, the committee will work on solutions.
And straight ahead this morning on Good Day Dakota, farmers preparing for the colder months, and they're doing it with a trusted old school kind of technology.
And stay tuned as meteorologist Stone Schaefer looks into the future to bring you his full forecast.
Welcome back to Good Day Dakota.
Welcome back, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Schaefer here. Going to start this off on our satellite and radar. Not much to see. You got clear skies across pretty much all the region. There's a light cloud cover, but as you get out for work, school, whatever, you should see the moon, maybe some stars, and we should have a nice sunrise as well this morning. Winds are going to trend upward, though. We have winds right around 10 miles per hour right now. They'll get up to 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusts up to 25 to 30 today. It'll start to calm down right around sunset into the night tomorrow, then really calm down tomorrow morning as well. I do have to take a look at this. SPC has given us this non-severe thunderstorm outlook to the northwest corner of the state. That'll be late tonight into tomorrow morning.
All right, thank you very much, Stone. New this morning, winter season is quickly approaching and farmers in North Dakota are getting ready.
Nye Remy joins us in the studio with more. Hey, Nye.
Hey, Nicholas and Alicia. Agriculture is a big part of our everyday lives here in North Dakota, so experts are gathering around to prepare themselves to protect their crops, livestock, soil, and more. And one way to do it is to start planting windbreaks. A windbreak, also known as wind fences, are usually made up of 3 or more rows of trees or shrubs in an open field and are planted in a specific way to provide shelter from the wind to protect livestock from windy and cold conditions, soil from an erosion, and much more. Dustin Kruger and his team are training conservation experts from North Dakota and South Dakota about these windbreaks.
Want to protect resources, and a big resource in North Dakota is soil, and with it blowing away in our wind and stuff like that. So we establish these field windbreaks around the fields and stuff like that to protect that resource.
Nicholas and Alicia, I have more coming up.
Okay.
All right, very good. Very interesting. You know, you always see those rows of trees
Yes.
randomly throughout the fields. And as a kid, I was like, why are there just random rows of trees?
Right.
We know now.
There you are. Thank you very much. After the opening week with gains, U.S. stocks took a dive on Tuesday. It comes as the federal government faces a potential shutdown in just days if Congress fails to pass funding legislation.
The Dow tumbled 388 points in its worst day since March. The Nasdaq fell 207 and the S&P 500 fell 63 points. CBS News' Chanel Call has the latest business news headlines.
Hollywood writers are expected to return to work today after union leaders voted to end the nearly 5-month-long strike. The Writers Guild of America and major studios reached a tentative deal over the weekend on a new 3-year contract that includes pay increases and some protections against the use of artificial intelligence. Members now have almost 2 weeks to vote on the new contract. The Federal Trade Commission in 17 states have filed an antitrust case against Amazon, alleging the e-commerce giant illegally wields monopoly power to maintain higher prices, harming consumers and weakening competition. The lawsuit also claims the online retailer buries discount sellers far down in its search results so that they become invisible. In a statement, Amazon called the case, quote, wrong on the facts and the law. And Target announced that it is closing 9 stores in major cities across the country next month because of theft and organized retail crime. The company says the wave of shoplifting is threatening the safety of its workers and shoppers. Stores are closing in New York City, Seattle, San Francisco's Bay Area, and Portland, Oregon. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Chanel Call.
local weather with the KX News Storm Team.
Coming up on 6:17 here on Good Day Dakota, and now we did learn that these are, or they were, the flash you saw behind us, just lights.
Yeah,
just
lights.
blown out lights.
Yeah.
It got me for a little bit there, so nothing happening out there, and
No.
nothing happening in the way of weather, really kind of pleasant.
Yeah, really just a quiet pattern really through the midweek. We had high pressure sort of been sitting over. It moves off to the east, sort of keeps a lot of that rain away from us. We could probably get heavier rain this weekend if it moves out quicker, but right now it looks like it rained just pretty light as of now.
All right.
Yeah, we'll start off on our satellite and radar. Clear everywhere. Practically some light cloud cover maybe towards the east. There probably is some more light cloud cover in other places that isn't getting detected, but many of us are going to see clear skies as you get out for your morning routine. Throughout most of the morning, you should get a nice sunrise as well. Temperatures right now mostly sitting in the 50s. Actually, everywhere is in the 50s at this point. Linton has gone up to the 54 right now. We'll continue to warm up. We're above average right now. We'll stay above average throughout most, if not all, the day. Wind speeds and directions also have picked up. We'll go 15, maybe 20 miles per hour, a little heavier out to the west, but we start to see a signal it's moving closer to the east. Now we have these winds in Minot, Garrison, and Carson that are up into the teens. Bismarck will soon be in the teens as well. This is that wind shifting to the east into the central portions of the state. We see that on our wind gust forecast as well. 30 to 35 mile per hour winds throughout much of the central portions up to the northeast. Even the southeast could see some heavier winds, but out to the west, you look actually relatively clear today. 15 to 25, maybe your heaviest winds possible, but even far out west, closer to the border of Montana and North Dakota, you actually should be relatively calm today. Stay calm tonight. You can still see a wind gust up to 25 to 30. That hangs in tomorrow as well. But then once we hit Friday, winds totally calm down. It looks to be a nice calm Friday. Winds will pick back up into Saturday. Highs this afternoon do show those upper 60s to the lower 70s. Mid 70s could be possible out to the west, but a day where everyone's practically above average or at average. Average is 67, 68, and 69 degrees across much, if not all, the state right now. So we're above that mark, and we'll stay above average the next really week or so. Precision cast, well, it's showing us dry, sunny skies today. There will be some light cloud cover, some heavier cloud cover builds later in the day from the west to the east. Then we'll have this light rain chance out to the east. Wouldn't surprise me if it does move into the central portions of the state today. We'll get our first wave of rain tomorrow morning up to the northwest as we get through the morning. Quickly moves out though, and then we'll have a dry Thursday afternoon. We'll have some cloud cover there as well, and then we get to Friday morning, rain across much of the southern regions of the state. That moves out quickly though. Looks like Friday should be a nice dry day, or even accumulations with this next few days. Doesn't look like much, but we'll see more rain chances Saturday into Sunday, and that could hang around into next week as well. Temperature outlook for next week, warmer than average is expected. We see that Monday, Tuesday, even Wednesday could be in the 70s, and we'll drop down maybe into the 60s and 50s, but it does look like we'll be warmer than average to start the week. Precip outlook, wetter than average. Rain chances Monday and Tuesday. Those could hang on through many days next week as well. Your Williston 5-day forecast shows 70s today, 60s Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with those rain chances in the same period as well. Dickinson, the same outlook, 70s today, 60s all the way through your Sunday with those rain chances, but pretty light rain chances as well. Your Minot 7-day forecast, 70s today into tomorrow, 60s Friday, 70s on Saturday, then a mix of 60s and 70s to start next week. Your Bismarck 7-day forecast, 70s the next 2 days, 60s Friday, the 70s, maybe even upper 70s for that first day of October on Sunday, back to the lower 70s Monday and Tuesday.
So a little warmer than average, then a little cooler than average, and then we will see.
Yeah, well, actually, we're really at average. Every day there's at or above average there. So I think that's a good thing. Most people enjoy. It does look like, though, we do have a cooling signal to end next week, but things could change.
All right. Thank you very much, Stone. And coming up on Good Day Dakota, with football season in full swing, it's important to think and remember what to do in the event of a concussion.
And football is a sign of fall, and some people pull out their team's gear, which is all they need for the season. Visit our Facebook page and tell us what is a must-have fall item for you. Stay with us.
the best way to wake up in the morning is with Good Day Dakota.
Coming up on 624 now. As students get back in the gym or out on the field this fall, there is a chance of concussions.
Some of the things you thought about treating concussions might not be true.
And you may have been told by your doctor to sit in a dark room and wait until your symptoms improve. But that's actually something doctors no longer recommend. Instead, they encourage physical activity once you are symptom free. But don't do too much either, or it could make things worse.
You may also have heard that you need to try to stay awake if you have a concussion, but that's also not true. As long as it's nothing more serious like a brain bleed or TBI. Dr. David Howell from the Colorado Concussion Research Lab says sleep is very important.
We see this myth continues to persist today, even in films and TV shows where people get a concussion and they say you got to wake them up every hour. If it is a concussion, sleep in that first day or two after the injury occurs is the best thing that you can do.
And it is true that you're more likely to get another concussion once you've sustained a concussion, but they are finding it also makes you more susceptible to other injuries, and that's why proper treatment is so important.
Dr. Howell says never try to tough it out. If you think you have a concussion, finishing a game could prolong your symptoms by at least a week.
Yeah, very interesting. All things everything that I thought I knew is not true. So very interesting. Let's talk weather now, because what is true in the weather is that we have some average temperature days.
Yeah, we really do. Nice walking weather as well. We'll see a lot of people out and about for the next couple of days. It will be windy. You'll have to deal with that, but I think most of us just are used to that by now. This morning we have Nixon out here sitting like a good boy, getting ready to go, maybe on a walk today. Again, lots of sunshine possible. We'll have some clouds in and out today. The biggest thing is going to be the winds as you get out and about through the afternoon. Highs show 60s and 70s across much of the region, many of us in the mid to lower 70s today, and that's going to stick around over the next 10 days. We can see 70s all the way through Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, but again, there is a signal by the end of next week we will cool off to the 60s and maybe even the 50s.
All right, thank you very much, Stone, and now let's check out our National Day calendar.
Today we're wrapping up in style and celebrating a versatile accessory that's stood the test of time.
Welcome to September 27th on the National Day calendar. Scarves, with their rich history and vast array of patterns, materials, and styles, have been a staple in wardrobes worldwide for centuries. National Scarf Day honors this timeless accessory that provides warmth and protection and adds a splash of personality and flair to any outfit. From ancient Rome, where scarves were used as sweat cloths, to modern runways where they make bold fashion statements, scarves have continuously evolved while maintaining their essential charm. Whether you wear them knotted, draped, wrapped, or tied, they offer endless possibilities for self-expression. So, as the chill of autumn begins to touch the air, find your favorite scarf or perhaps discover a new one and wear it with pride and style. I'm Marlo Anderson with the National Day calendar. See you again tomorrow as we celebrate every day.
For the list of all the national days you can celebrate today, head over to our website at kxnet.com.
When we return here on Good Day Dakota, we'll share some hacks for college students cooking on a budget. Keep it here.
forecast first with the KX Storm Team.
Welcome back, everyone. Halfway through the hour. Wake up weather as you're getting out of bed for work, school, or whatever you're going to be doing. 48 to 56 degrees. Mostly clear skies. Will be breezy. A southeast wind 5 to 15 miles per hour. We're seeing those winds increase even more. Could be up to 20 miles per hour at this point in the morning. Highs this afternoon, well, they're showing us, many of us in the mid to lower 70s. There will be some upper 60s, but everyone at or above average for your day today. Don't go anywhere, because I'll be going over the rain chances later this week and much, much more. Good Day Dakota continues right now.
Good Day Dakota continues on KX News.
Good morning and welcome to Good Day Dakota. I'm Alicia Huck.
And I'm Nicholas Kwolek. Thanks for waking up with us on this Wednesday morning. Straight ahead in this half hour, Kiara Brown will share the cheese on a side dish that can elevate any fall dinner table in today's Cooking with KX.
And then at 6:43, we'll share some tips on navigating the allergies that come with the changing season.
Then at 6:48, farmers and ranchers are using Mother Nature's wind technology to help them for the colder months ahead.
Well, for college students, most of whom are living on their own for the first time, cooking doesn't always come easy.
But reporter Sarah Gurnelli is speaking with the chef about simple meals that won't break the bank. Plus, you don't even have to have any fancy equipment.
Inside Johnson & Wales University, Chef Michael McCooch is serving up 3 different healthy dishes with simple ingredients that college students can make in a dorm room or apartment.
We are going to primarily focus on utilizing the microwave. If you're living in a dormitory, for instance, this might be your only option.
The first dish is a penne pasta with already cooked pasta that you can buy at the grocery store. Just add olive oil to coat the bottom of the pan and grape tomatoes.
We're going to be using some granulated garlic, just a little bit of salt, any of our dried spices that we want to put in. So this happens to be some dried oregano, and I will use some fresh basil.
When the tomatoes start to burst, he then adds in some pasta water for the starch, followed by the noodles.
There's your pasta dish.
Next on the menu is a baked sweet potato with beans, corn, and tomatoes.
This has been cooking on really, really low now for a little while. So this is all ready to go. So this will be one of our toppings that we'll put on there. A little bit of fresh sour cream and some fresh cilantro. And you get yourself a really nice meal. And there's your sweet potato.
The last dish is a breakfast meal with quinoa that was cooked in the microwave.
A little bit of quinoa, a little bit of cinnamon. Local from the farm is going to be our husk cherries.
He adds sliced banana, nuts, and hot honey.
So 3 very simple dishes that really anybody can prepare with limited equipment.
And another good hack for college students is to buy frozen fruits and vegetables so that they last longer. Much better than the old standby ramen noodles that
Quinoa.
I kind of, I bet, try that. You tried a carrot bar and didn't even know you were eating carrots.
Carrot cake bar.
Yeah. So there you go.
Probably
Don't knock it till you try it.
Probably not anytime soon. The days are getting cooler, and Kiara Brown is transitioning her menu to change with the season.
And today she has a cheesy addition that pairs well with any fall dinner you decide to make in this week's Cooking with KX.
No quinoa.
Hello everyone, welcome to another Cooking with KX. With days starting to get a little chillier, it's just about time to pull out those crock pots and Dutch ovens. Next month I'm going to be making all homemade fall soups. So today I thought I'd cook up something that will complement all of those recipes. Bread, but not just any kind of bread. This cheesy garlic pull apart buttered sourdough is a soup lover's dream, and it's definitely a crowd favorite in my house. It goes with any soup or crock pot recipe, or it's amazing just by itself. So let's get cooking and let's jump right in. Here are the ingredients you'll need. First, preheat the oven to 400 degrees. Then chop the tops off 4 heads of garlic. On a baking sheet, lay a piece of tin foil down and set the heads of garlic in the center. Drizzle a good amount of olive oil on top of them and sprinkle with salt and pepper. Put the tops of the heads of garlic back on them and fold the tin foil into a ball around the heads of garlic. Bake in the oven for 45 minutes and prepare for your house to smell like garlic. After 45 minutes, pull them out of the oven and let it cool for about 25 minutes. The garlic should be soft and fragrant. In a bowl, squeeze the garlic out of the heads. This can get a little messy, so be sure you have an apron on and don't burn your fingers with the hot garlic. Once all of the garlic cloves are in a bowl, add 1 cup of soft butter. Then add a 1/4 cup of chopped parsley, a tablespoon of oregano, and a teaspoon of salt and pepper. Mix together to form a paste and make sure to mash the garlic cloves well. Set the mixture aside and pull out an entire uncut loaf of sourdough bread. With a serrated bread knife, cut the sourdough into 1-inch cubes, but don't cut all the way through. Then cut 8 mozzarella string cheese sticks into thirds. Stuff the bread with the cheese sticks at every cut. Make sure to push the cheese down as far as it will go into the bread. Then pour the garlic butter mixture over the top of the sourdough and spread all over so the butter can seep into the cracks. Pop it into the oven for 25 minutes until cheese is melted and the bread is golden brown. Let it cool for 10 minutes and sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on top. Grab a square from the bread and just look at that cheese pull. Serve with soup or as an appetizer. Happy fall, everyone.
And starting in October, Kiara is making all homemade soup recipes to pair with this garlic cheese bread.
For the full recipe list, you can visit our website, kxnet.com.
So
yes.
I'm going to request that we have some cheese recipes with quinoa. Or soup recipes. That's what I meant to say. Soup recipes with quinoa.
You will be all on your own eating it.
Mr. Anchovy.
I love anchovies. I've tried quinoa for the record.
Okay. Well, making headlines around the world, Trump won't be on the stage with other GOP 2024 presidential hopefuls debating tonight in California because he is skipping the event to campaign in Michigan. Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, former Vice President Mike Pence, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, and Governor Doug Burgum are among the 7 candidates who qualified for the second debate.
Well, keep it with us here on Good Day Dakota. Still to come, we'll share some tips on getting through those seasonal allergies. The time is 6:36.
Now more Good Day Dakota on KX News.
6:39 here on your Wednesday morning. Welcome back. Well, as the cooler weather kicks in and we start to feel that autumn breeze and see the change of the leaves, you might find yourself carrying an extra pack of tissues.
That's right. Fall allergy season is in full swing, and reporter Maria Cade spoke with one expert who shares what you need to look out for.
For most people, fall weather means pumpkins and leaves, but others may feel the need to sneeze.
End of August, first week of September, when fall starts, of course. Usually that's when the levels will rise.
It's fall allergy season for many. About 25% of adults have a seasonal allergy, according to the CDC. Geisinger physician Dr. Neil Baumann says there are two main culprits for this: ragweed and outdoor mold, both causing different symptoms.
Nasal congestion or stuffy nose. Runny nose. Some people get post-nasal drip. Oftentimes the eyes can be affected, where you get itchy eyes and teary eyes and occasional redness of the eyes.
Dr. Baumann says these allergies can stick around until the cooler weather brings frost or snow, and hiding under a pile of leaves won't keep you safe from them.
Avoidance is the main key. Of course, with a lot of the outdoor allergens, that's not feasible.
If you think that you may be experiencing these allergies, you'll want to start with a visit to your doc.
The next step would be to talk about the various treatments that they could try. Oral antihistamines that you could get over the counter, nasal sprays or prescription medications that can certainly be tried.
Dr. Baumann says if you're suffering from more serious symptoms like asthma, you can speak to an allergist about allergy shots as a form of treatment.
Yeah, and definitely glad that that smoke has subsided, because all of those suffering from allergies in general, and then to add the smoke on top of it, I'm sure was no fun for any of those folks.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. Yeah, luckily smoke has moved out. They got some rain up there. I think it's helped a lot of that smoke sort of get dissipated. We'll see. Obviously, there could be more waves, but right now it doesn't look like any time soon. As we take a look at our satellite and radar right now, there is clear skies over all of the state. There might be a light cloud cover. There also could be some light fog in some regions, but many of us stay clear as you get out and about for your morning. Wind trends, though, show we're going to see these winds pick up throughout most, if not the rest of the day, up to maybe 20 miles per hour in some location. Wind gusts up to 35 could be possible. Once we hit sunset, we will calm back down into the lower teens for our winds. Then we'll be back into single digits tomorrow morning. Looks like the winds will pick back up as well. SPC has given us a non-severe thunderstorm threat up to the northwest corner of the state. That's going to be late tonight into tomorrow morning. Even that's a pretty small chance.
All right, thank you very much, Stone. And there's still plenty ahead on Good Day Dakota, including trees. How trees are helping farmers in the upcoming winter months. Nye Remy will tell us all about it.
And from your favorite drink to household decor, everyone has that one item they need for fall. So visit our Facebook page and tell us what's your must-have item for fall.
And Stone will have more on your day ahead and weather when we return.
First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Join the conversation on Facebook and Twitter with Good Day Dakota.
It is 6:44. Welcome back. New this morning, it might not be fun for some, but it's time to prepare for the next season here in North Dakota.
Yeah, that's right. And October is right around the corner here, which means that winter will soon be upon us. And our reporter Nye Remy has more on how our farmers are preparing for the upcoming months. Nye?
Nicholas and Alicia, when it comes down to farming in general, our soil, livestock, crops, wildlife, and of course people play a major role. But what about the winter? During this season, it's obviously cold and it can come with some unbearable winds at times, making an uncomfortable living environment for practically every resource. I met with Dustin Kruger at Minokin Farm, where they held a conference teaching folks how to get the most out of those windy conditions. A windbreak, also known as wind fences, are usually made up of 3 or more rows of trees or shrubs in an open field and are planted in a specific way to provide shelter from the wind to protect livestock from windy and cold conditions, soil from an erosion, and much more.
Austrian pine gets the plug.
Dustin Kruger and his team are training conservation experts from North Dakota and South Dakota about these windbreaks.
We want to protect resources, and a big resource in North Dakota is soil. And with it blowing away in our wind and stuff like that. So we establish these field windbreaks around the fields and stuff like that to protect that resource.
Windbreaks also help reduce livestock from animal stress and food consumption that can lead to weight gain or weight loss. And they can actually reduce wind speeds up to 90%.
You know, we get a lot of harsh winds. With that is our windshield goes down a lot faster within the cold and during the winter.
It's Austrian pine.
The last conference on windbreaks was held by Dustin and his team back in 2018. And since then, he says they're doing way more than teaching how to build a windbreak to help farmers.
About other resources, whether it's water quality, habitat, anything like that. So we are doing conservation throughout North Dakota on all sorts of other resources, not just wind. But this workshop is focused on establishing windbreaks and just doing them correctly, so we're not taking a step backwards in trying to protect those resources.
Kruger says they invited 15 employees from South Dakota's Conservation District and 53 from North Dakota, and they all have the same goal in common, keeping their agriculture safe throughout this winter season. Nicholas and Alicia.
A lot of strategy to keeping everything safe and as thriving as it can during the harsh winter.
Exactly, and we don't have enough trees here in North Dakota, but you do see those random tree rows in the fields,
right.
And they're very effective. So good to know. Thank you very much, Nye.